when I got on my first bull, we all had long hair back then, and the rodeo announcer thought I was a girl because my name was Lynn. He kind of embarrassed me as I was walking back to the bucking chutes. This is Lynn Uptmor, and you're listening to the Tony Pruitt Show.
It was very good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tony Pruitt Show. And today's guest is a special guest and a personal friend of mine. I don't think I've ever met a more humble and nicer individual in my entire life. He is also a champion bull rider from West Texas. Please welcome my friend, Lynn Uptmor. How you doing, buddy?
Great, Tony. How's everybody?
Everybody's doing great, man. How's the family?
Great. Everybody's doing good.
Good. Well, you're from West Texas, and for those of you that don't know where that's at, that's right outside of Waco, Texas, and you attended West High School, correct?
That's right. Class of 86.
Class of 86. What sports did you play in high school?
Mostly football and baseball. I tried basketball a little bit, but I was a little too short for that. Wasn't too fast or too big, so football wasn't too good at that either, but I was pretty good at baseball.
Well, what made you want to start rodeoing?
Probably just started, it was kind of the culture back then. A lot of kids would get into doing things and trying to ride bulls. My two brothers had both ridden bulls, and a bunch of people, older kids that I knew, had rode bulls, and I kind of wanted to join the cool kids, so I let them put me on a couple, and that's how it all got started.
That was crazy. I mean, how old were you when you first rode a bull?
Sixth grade, apparently. I didn't know that until I looked it up earlier today. I got on one and then maybe one the next year. I really didn't start getting serious about bull riding until I was about a junior in high school.
Oh, wow. So sixth grade, that's amazing. So do you remember the first time you rode a bull?
Yes. It was.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't ride them all the way, and it was very fast. And the only thing I really remember is when I got on my first bull, we all had long hair back then, and the rodeo announcer thought I was a girl because my name was Lynn. He kind of embarrassed me as I was walking back to the bucking chutes.
That's hilarious.
That was in my hometown of West too. That's terrible.
Oh, it's even worse. Tell me what kind of adrenaline rush you have when you ride a bull. That's got to be amazing.
Oh yeah, it feels great. I mean, you're trying to do something, and if you get it accomplished, you just really feel great. You never know what's going to happen, so there's no plans. It could be real easy, could be hard, could be, who knows.
Do you get scared and nervous though?
Well, first couple of years you're really scared like crazy, just because you don't know what's happening. You don't want to fail too. But eventually you kind of get into the mode where you're going to put your body through this. You're going to try your hardest, and the fear kind of takes a back burner to everything else. I think the only time you really get scared once you maybe start going pro is when you really draw a really ranked bull, or at your really big event, something like that.
Then you get nervous.
Yeah,
man,
a little anxious,
That's amazing that you can do that. So, do you remember your first pro rodeo? I mean, not amateur. I mean, when did you decide to go pro?
I guess when I got out of high school, I rodeoed in college for a college team, and I really didn't even know anything about that you could really do pro, but I saw some other guys were, trying to go to some good rodeos that paid good money. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I went and got my permit. You get your permit, and once you win a little bit of money, they let you have your pro card, and you go anywhere you want.
Oh, I didn't know you could. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it takes years of practice just to get to where you can ride some of them pretty good ones.
I did not know that. So tell me about the first time you actually won money. Do you remember that?
First time? Yeah, I remember the first time I won money at, it was in Waxahachie or Alvarado, one of them places up there. I don't even remember where, but I remember I wasn't old enough to drive. So my dad drove me up there, and I rode a good bull, won first. And I remember riding all the way back home in the back of the station wagon, looking at my check, holding it the whole time, going, man, this is great.
Oh, so it was that young that you won your first rodeo?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you were that young. So what about the first time you won money in the pro level?
When I started going to pro rodeos, I had gotten pretty good at it. Before I turned pro, I used to get on bulls every day almost. We get on bulls 4 or 5 days a week. Just go and get on as many as you can. And the more you get on them, better you get at it. And, then you start hitting the pro rodeos, then you get on some real good bulls, and it's a little bit harder then.
I bet it is. So the bulls have a reputation as well, right?
Yeah, some of them have reputations for being either mean or hard to ride, or some of them have reputations for, you're going to win money on them, or some are just kind of mediocre. You may not win money on them. You never know.
So is that like a luck of the draw on what bull you get?
Yeah. Well, when I was riding, 20 some odd years ago, it was a little more luck of the draw. I think nowadays they got a lot more bulls that buck really good, so they don't ride near as many as they used to. But back then, sometimes you would draw some bulls and you wouldn't even go get on them because there was no chance of winning money on them. So,
really?
It was kind of disappointing, yeah, but it happened.
Wow. So, did you have a sponsor back in the day, or did you pay for everything out of your own pocket?
Pay for everything out of my own pocket. It really, there wasn't very many sponsors back then, unless you're maybe 3 or 4 of the top guys of the whole world maybe got something, but other than that,
right.
Riding for your own money.
That's a tough business, isn't it? I mean, you don't win, you don't play.
That's right. It can be real tough.
Oh man. So was there ever a time that you just never won any money?
Not really. I mean, you always win a little bit, seems like. And, whenever you hit a big lick, you just put it in the bank and keep going,
So it's kind of like golf. If you make the cut, you may get a little bit.
That's right. Yeah.
So in 1992, you were ranked in the top 15, I understand. And in 1997, you were ranked in the top 10, which is amazing, by the way. What does it take to be ranked? And is that based on money earnings, or how many times you actually win a rodeo, or both?
It's just based on how much money you've got won compared to everybody else. The highest money winners ended up going to the finals in Vegas every year, and that's where the big money was at.
And you rode in Vegas before?
No, I didn't. Well, when I made it in 1992, I got to the top 15. And that year I ended up getting hurt. I tore my shoulder up. I was paralyzed for about 6 months after that. So I didn't even ride at all the next year. Ended up having to have surgery on it. So I basically was out for 2 years after that. Started trying to get back after that.
So you were paralyzed?
Yeah, my muscles, like in my shoulder, it was really weird. It just had a lot of nerve damage. My arm got real tiny like a little kid. And it took about 2 years to rehab it back into where it worked, the way it's supposed to.
Wow, a lot of rehab.
Yeah, it was fun.
Excuse me. I understand you were recently honored in Cheyenne. Can you tell us all about that?
Oh, yeah. A good buddy of mine, Kirk Allman, he told me a couple years back, he said, I hold a record up there for the high score. And he said, if you make it for 30 years, he said, we're going to go up there and visit. So hadn't been there in, 25, 30 years. So we went up there a couple of weeks ago, and that rodeo was really great. We had a lot of fun and just kind of looked around, see what changed and what stayed the same up there.
So you hold a record there?
Yeah.
And that record is what?
I was 94 points there in 1992, so it's about 30 years ago. And that rodeo's been going on for about 125 years. So
wow.
Out of all the thousands of bull riders that have gone through there, I've had the highest score so far.
You still hold the record. That's amazing.
It's crazy, yeah.
That is crazy. That's really cool.
Thanks.
So I see today where the rodeo cowboys, they wear a helmet. Did you wear a helmet back then, or did you wear a hat?
Nobody really wore a helmet back in. Maybe just a very few guys did. The only 2 times I ever wore a helmet is just because I had an injury. Doctor told me to wear it if I was going to go ride. But other than that, never really got used to it. I guess if everybody else would have done it, I probably would have done it.
But don't you think that's a pretty good idea that they wear those today?
Yeah, probably save you a few teeth and some black eyes and stuff.
Which I'm sure you had a few, didn't you?
Had a few teeth, yeah.
Have you been kicked in the face before?
Not kicked in the face, but I've been hit in the face a few times where I had, some black eyes and things like that, and a lot of chipped teeth and stuff.
Oh my gosh. So being a professional rodeoer, there's a whole lot of travel involved. Did you enjoy the traveling?
I think the traveling was probably some of the best. I got to go places where people have never, that I grew up with and never had a chance to go. I've been to dang near every state. Uh, Went into Canada a few times, even to Brazil about 3 or 4 times to go ride bulls and just travels. It was a lot of fun.
I bet that was a lot of fun back in the day, especially being a young cowboy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and everybody just want to hang out, and have fun. It was great.
Did y'all all just travel together as a group?
Not really. Usually, you'd buddy up with 1 or 2 or 3 guys, and you'd kind of get a car or a van or something, and just go go all together as much as you could. As long as everybody stayed healthy, just keep traveling.
Yeah, that's a tough gig, isn't it?
Well, you always try to want to hang out with some guys who are good, or guys that are better than you. That guys that won't bring you down, guys that are they talk to you, and you want to try to be better than them. So try to keep going with guys who are better than you, so you can better yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So what made you finally retire? Did you retire in 97 or 99?
Well, in 97, I blew my knee up, and I was out for about a year, and I tried to come back. I guess it was 1999. Tried to come back again just to make a few, and I entered 3 different rodeos, 3 different bull rides. It was PBR back then when I was going at the end, and I went to all 3 of them. At the second one, it was actually here in Waco, and I rode good. I rode both my bulls, but I knew it was over because my left leg just didn't work like it was supposed to, and I ended up going to the last one just for the heck of it, and I knew it was going to be my last one, and that was about it. And actually, on the last one, I ended up dislocating my shoulder, so that put an exclamation point on everything.
So you had a lot of injuries in the field.
It happens. I think if you ride, you're going to get hurt sooner or later.
Well, I was going to ask you, my next question is, what all injuries have you had, and do you still have those feelings today? Do you still suffer from any of them?
Well, I dislocated my right shoulder a couple of times, and I dislocated my left shoulder, and my left knee doesn't have a PCL in it anymore. I blew it out, tore up the meniscus. I've actually had 2 hip replacements, one when I was 46 and one just 2 years ago. So
oh, my Lord.
I had to do that. I got to a point where my hips weren't working as good as they were supposed to, and I just got to the point where I needed to get it done. I'm way better now.
Oh, my Lord. You think all that's from riding bulls?
Probably so. Riding bulls and playing football and riding bicycles when you're kids, and who knows. Getting old.
I mean, a lot of people don't think about it, but the bull riders, they're athletes. They're the real deal.
Exactly. And I wish nowadays they're really athletes. I mean, guys will train and train and train. Back then, maybe half the guys would train and get their physical body in great physical shape, where others were just talented and didn't even worry about all that.
Well, and today, do they wear pads today, like little shoulder, or it looks like they wore some kind of padding?
Yeah, it's like a vest.
Yeah.
It just covers the front and the back in case you get hit, protects.
You could have used that.
I used it for a couple of years, but it at the beginning, nobody used it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like anything else, things get better as time goes on. You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for a young bull rider today?
I think I'd give the same advice that I was given when I was a kid. If you want to get better at it, go get on as many as you can. Strive to get better at it. You can't get better with just by sitting on the sidelines. You got to go. You got to get on a bunch of them until you get better at it, or quit, one or the other.
Yep, just ride. Just get on and ride.
And listen to the people. If you see a guy who rides good, listen to what he says. If you see a guy who's not very good and they talk a lot, just don't listen to those guys because they're terrible advice,
Right. That's good advice. So tell us what you're doing now.
Now, me and my brother have a leather shop here in Waco, Uptmor Saddlery. We build a lot of leather products, belts, wallets, holsters, things like that. Me and my wife Amanda, we have a daughter, London. She's, I think, 26, married to Tanner Harold. Yep. 2 grandbabies.
Right.
Well, Eleanor's 3, Walker's 1. So we get to see them a lot. They live right down the street from us. We watch the kids a couple of days a week, just have fun.
Well, good deal. I've seen your shop before. It's, for those of you who don't know, you need to go. It's an amazing place. They do great work. So we'll give you a little store spiff there. So
Right.
All right, it is time to play the Fun Fast Five. Are you familiar with that?
Not really.
Okay,
I
it's real
forget.
simple.
Okay.
There are 5 easy questions we have for you, and it's just something that tells us a little bit about yourself. They're short answers, but try to think about it a little bit. Number 1, what was your favorite TV show growing up or cartoon growing up?
Shoot, I would say Gilligan's Island, maybe.
Gilligan's Island.
I don't even remember. We really didn't watch a lot of TV when we were kids, I guess. Of course, they only had 3 channels back then.
You're showing your age now.
I know it.
What is your favorite rock band?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'd probably say Zeppelin.
Zeppelin. Okay.
Yeah.
That surprises me a little bit.
I used to listen to Zeppelin all the time going up and down the road. We've been listening to that since we was in high school.
Well, you had older brothers.
Yeah, whatever they listen to, that's what I got to play.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. What's your favorite pastime hobby?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe golf.
Golf. You still golf?
Very little. I go a couple of times a year. Still terrible.
Not. You don't have to be very good at golf to enjoy it.
I like to go to the scrambles that way in case you don't hit it very good. Somebody else will back you up.
Absolutely. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
What is your favorite vacation spot?
That I've been to? Probably either
I know you like cruises.
Yeah, Isla Mujeres in Mexico. It's near Cancun, or Key West.
Key West is good.
Great place for people our age. It's fun. A lot of partying.
Yeah, that sounds great. And last of all, what is your favorite fast time food?
I don't really have. I don't know. I guess say Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Yeah.
I don't really. I have Whataburger. I think Whataburger is only in Texas. I may be wrong. So for those of you that don't know, because we are worldwide, Whataburger is a great hamburger place in Texas. So, all right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You bet. I appreciate it.
No, it was fun. So, and for those of you watching our show, we appreciate, as always, your support, and stay tuned for more legendary interviews. Until next time, peace out. Later, Lynn.
Thanks, man.